Day two of the Nebula conference, and I've got a really special lineup of interviews today. One of the important things about publishing these days is that most of the time authors are doing it themselves. In order to get to all of the places that we want to get with our books, we often use distributors. Sometimes we go direct to a retailer, and sometimes we'll use a distributor to get there. And sometimes the distributors will offer us special deals or special features to help make their products and services even better. There are two frontrunners in the indie distributor business. One of them is Pronoun, which is owned by Macmillan, and the other one is Draft2Digital, which is itself basically an indie company. I've interviewed representatives from both of those companies today, and you get to take a look at their different services and make your own call. These guys are both experts at their fields. There's a lot of good advice in these interviews. Take a listen. Day two of the Nebulas, and I'm here with folks from Pronoun. I've got Justin Renard and Alyssa Bernstein here, and they'd like to talk to you about what they have to offer and what they're doing for authors as part of Pronoun. Justin?
Hi. Thanks for having us. So I'm the head of marketing and communications at Pronoun. One of the things I am really excited to be able to talk to you all about is how important data is to being a successful writer today, in terms of being found and in terms of helping to increase the performance of your books when they are in market. So Pronoun is a self-publishing platform, which I'm sure many of you are aware, which means it's a place where you can upload your manuscript, create a beautiful ebook, design a cover, and then distribute across all the major ebook retailers, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kobo, Apple iBooks, and Google Play. What makes us somewhat different from some of the other businesses out there is we are really backed by a very powerful data engine, if you will. And it enables us to surface really useful information when it comes to making decisions about how to specifically list or price or categorize your book when you distribute it to those retailers. What many authors don't realize is getting found out there in the world, or many authors don't realize about getting found out there in the world, it is largely dependent on things like where your book is categorized, how it's titled, the specific price you've chosen, and that kind of information can actually have a huge impact on your success. So the way in which Pronoun is trying or attempting to help authors solve that problem is by creating a set of tools that are free, where authors can look up information that is in the market in real time. So for example, when it comes to pricing your book, you can actually see how the different price points that are popular in a specific category that you might be publishing your book into. You can also see which price points that most bestsellers are priced at in that same category. And what's more, you can actually split that information between just independent books as well as traditionally published books, depending on what kind of author you are, whether you're hybrid or not.
Now, Justin, how does that compare with Amazon's own tool that does the ebook, where they do ebook recommendations, like ebook pricing recommendations? Via KDP, you can get a price recommendation. Your thing is more focused on the specific genre and subgenre, right?
Yeah, I guess we drill all the way down into the subgenre, so you can go all the way down into the very niche that your book is potentially going to list in, so that you are actually pricing within that specific context rather than across the whole business. And we also surface the information in a 7-day window, so you can actually see how that information changes over time. So if you're deciding to maybe do a price promotion to help bolster your sales, or perhaps you were lucky enough to get a BookBub deal, it's a way for you to see if that promotional price is going to resonate with readers in that space.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
One of the things I know people are really excited about with Pronoun is the ability to get books on Amazon for free without the hassle.
Yeah.
Perma-free is a huge problem for authors,
Yeah.
and you guys can do it automatically now?
Yeah. One of those services, and we launched this in January, I think, right?
Yep.
And that's effectively when you publish your book with Pronoun, you are able to set it as a free book from day one if you want. We know a lot of authors, especially series writing authors, who are experimenting with prices across the books in their series. And that was one of the biggest asks from authors is, if you could just help me so that I could price my first book for free, then I could up price some of my later books, and that could really help authors discover me and get into my series of books.
Yeah, that's a big asset. So, Alyssa, when are authors going to be talking with you?
Whenever you need help. We designed the platform to be as easy to use as possible, but sometimes when you run into issues or you need some human support, you can email publish@pronoun.com and I'm the person who will help.
Terrific. Well, it's nice to be able to put a face on that. I know that people enjoy being able to see some of the people that are involved, and so short of actually meeting you folks, now folks can see.
Yeah, well, thank you. No, it's a real honor to be here, to be able to connect and talk with authors. And I'm, as someone who's worked in the publishing industry for a long time, both in traditional publishing at some of the big retailers as well as in e-com, it's been really cool to see that more authors and businesses are thinking about using data in a way to power their business, and that's kind of what we're all about.
Data powers online business. It's
Totally.
really what it's about.
Yeah.
So very cool. Thanks, you guys. I really appreciate
problem.
it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I'm here today with Kevin Tumlinson of Draft2Digital, who his company really needs no introduction for any indie who's wide out there. Draft2Digital is one of the primary tools that we use to reach retailers like Kobo and Apple and other smaller ones as well. But Kevin's going to talk with you a little bit today about the cool things that Draft2Digital can do for you.
Okay, that's a growing list, so I'll have to narrow it down to just the top coolest things.
Okay.
So if you're already familiar with Draft2Digital, you already know that we're a publishing aggregator. So we'll take your manuscript, and everything we do is free. So we'll convert that manuscript into the popular ebook formats, which you can download and hand out for free if you want, use it on another service directly, whatever you want.
So let's be clear about that one there, because I know I've seen people who've used that service a lot.
Right.
If you are worried about being able to produce your EPUB or your Mobi file, and you want to get your stuff up on, say, InstaFreebie,
Right.
you can go to Draft2Digital,
Right.
and one of the things you folks can do is make a nice looking EPUB that they can then upload to InstaFreebie to give away through that.
As a matter of fact, InstaFreebie is a friend of the company, basically, and they recommend using our conversion tool to get that EPUB. And that saves you a lot of time and a lot of hassle. You really just have to upload. Your best bet is to upload a Word document that uses the headers. What do they call it? They're style sheets.
Style sheets, yeah.
Styles.
Word styles.
Yeah, it's not CSS, but if you can upload a document that uses the heading settings in Word for your chapter headings, we'll automatically convert that and break those chapters for you. And if for some reason there is a problem, like it doesn't come out the way you expected, just reach out to our customer service folks who are real, live, breathing human beings, and they'll be happy to fix anything that goes wrong. So that's those two things, distribution and conversion, are kind of our leading services. We don't make any money on anything we do unless you distribute through us. So it's always in our best interest to make sure the authors are out there getting promoted as much as possible. We do get some promotions sometimes. Here's a super secret tip. If you want to try to get a promotion with Apple, reach out to our customer service folks and ask them if there's one available.
I've heard that before. Yeah, and Apple's one of those retailers where if you don't have the promotions,
Right.
It can be harder to get your book visible. So, Draft2Digital is a good source for that kind of thing.
Yeah, we can't always guarantee that we can do a promotion, but we're sort of primed to do them much more readily than others will be. Even Apple has trouble sometimes getting you into that promotion spot because you have to have an Apple rep.
Apple actually often prefers people uploading through an aggregator, last I heard, right?
Right. Yes, and that's any aggregator, but I like to think they think we're special because they do talk pretty well about us privately and publicly, but they do actually kind of prefer that because, for one, we handle all the customer service issues if something comes up. That keeps it off their shoulders. There's a lot of benefit, really, to being a part of an aggregator and rather than going direct. I'm not going to make like this an argument, okay? I'm just saying there is a benefit in that we represent 35,000 plus authors, so we tend to get notified about promotions and anything that's upcoming. We tend to have a little more pull with some of these guys.
So I'm heavily in KU right now, so I only have a few books left on.
I'm not holding it
Draft2Digital,
against you,
but I have, and for me, one of the big advantages of using Draft2Digital was actually having it all on one page.
Being able to see all your sales and your royalties.
It's all right there. And like I have Book Report that handles all my Amazon stuff, and it's all on one page, and it's easy to read. And Draft2Digital basically does the same thing for the other retailers. So you got your Apple sales and your Kobo sales and your Barnes and Noble sales and your Tolino sales.
And we're adding some all the time.
Sure. So, but instead of having to worry about like 6 different pages for all of that stuff, you can put it all on one.
Right.
That's the advantage of it.
And you can sort that data any way you like. The only thing we're not doing right now that we know is a sort of request, and we know people are going to want it, is we currently don't have a way for you to sort per book. It's just all books. But we, at least as far as some of the reports go, like you can't see individual sales for a book on all the individual stores and compare them, but you can see all of the book sales compared to all other stores. So we're looking at upgrading that functionality at some point in the hopefully near future.
That sounds cool.
We're actually this year, our plan is to try to roll something out like once a month or so. We've got a whole slate of really cool options.
You were telling me that there's a bunch of super secret stuff that you can't
that
talk
I can't
to me
even
about.
talk about. All I can do is tease it and let you get really excited about it.
Stay tuned, because there is really cool stuff apparently coming out, but you can't talk about it.
Right. Yet. Ask me nicely with $50 bills, and maybe I could.
you guys have a blog though, so
we do have a blog.
We can just follow your blog and we can stay up to date.
And that's really, since I don't know if it's a coincidence or not, but since I've come on board, our blog posts have really amped up. I'm writing them. I don't know if that's coincidence or not, but yes.
You guys have just recently started doing the redirect page feature.
You're talking about the Universal Book Links?
Yes,
and that is a favorite of mine.
That's a really cool feature.
Right, and if you don't know what that is, Universal Book Link is one link that will let you send your readers to everywhere your book is sold online. And if you know anything at all about marketing online, you know that reducing the number of clicks between your customer and your product is always a good move. Universal Book Links allow you to not only redirect them to everywhere that they would prefer to purchase, they can set that as their preferred store, so that the next time they click on that link, they go directly to that sales page. But the sort of extra cool benefits that I really geek out over is, one, you can do custom URLs. So I have URLs with my book titles for every book I have. Easy for me to remember in podcasts. The link is evergreen. And so if new stores come online, you just hit rescan. It'll add those new stores. But something very cool is this doesn't have to just be for you and your books. You can actually use this to make a little side scratch, and that is by inserting affiliate links. We have a little form where you can put all of your affiliate links in. We don't take any money out of this. You get 100% of your affiliate dollars, right? But we support Amazon Associates, we support Barnes & Noble, Apple iBooks, and this is my favorite one, we support Smashwords. So you can actually insert your Smashwords affiliate account and make money through our UBLs with Smashwords sales. So
that's kind of cool.
And it's all seamless. It doesn't,
Look out, Mark.
Right. Mark's a good guy, by the way. I'm just going to throw that in there. I like you, Mark.
I met him last summer at RWA Nationals. Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, I had drinks with him in San Francisco, along with Justin from Pronoun, who's sitting to my left right now. The cool thing about our business is we don't think of ourselves as being in competition with these guys. I know it kind of gets played out that way sometimes, and in some ways we are in competition, but
you are in competition, but it doesn't have to be an unfriendly competition. It
Right.
doesn't have to be a hostile competition.
well,
You
we
know,
don't. So
bring out the best in everybody.
I always think of it as if authors prefer one service over the other, they're not our authors. Like we have our market. We know exactly who they are. We know how to serve them. We know how to help them. We concentrate on providing as many tools and resources and as many promotions as we can. Everything that we can think of. I just had a conversation. Aaron Pogue is one of our founders. He's here at this convention today. And I just had a conversation with him over dinner about plans for some upcoming stuff that is purely, it doesn't benefit us financially at all. It's purely to help the authors get out there and increase their discoverability, increase their ability to reach globally.
But if you help the authors, then more authors come to you.
That's the point.
And more authors are selling through you, and therefore, Draft2Digital stays around and continues making good profits
we
itself.
operate, I'm going to just claim this officially for Draft2Digital, even though they've never said it to me, but we operate on the Zig Ziglar principle, which is if you can have anything you want, as long as you help enough other people get what they want.
And that's really the internet in a lot of ways. I mean, that's...
Well, this community, the indie author community, I referred to it yesterday as a sort of shadow industry, like it's right out in the open, but nobody notices it. It's a huge, booming, growing industry. Look at all the businesses that have just popped up. And now we're starting to get a little bit of notice because, Macmillan owns Pronoun, so the Big Five does know we're here, but they don't quite know what to do with us yet.
I think what's actually happened in terms of the industry, though, is it's already changed. People are just starting to realize it.
Right.
I mean,
they're starting to see the
indie
impact
publishing world is publishing.
Right.
It is the predominant form for fiction, at least, in the world. And the rest of the world hasn't caught up with that fact yet.
Right.
But it's slowly beginning to. Macmillan is...
Well, look, I firmly believe that what we are evolving toward is a hybrid model of publishing where there won't be a distinction between traditional and indie publishing anymore. It will just be publishers, we'll just be authors. The approach that Draft2Digital is taking is that we want to become the model for that industry. Like, that's what we're trying to build. We want to be the model that Macmillan and that Random House and that everybody emulates.
And the cool thing is that your model is a reversal of the old model, because the old model is a model based on what can authors do for us.
Right.
And your model is entirely reversed. It's what can we do for authors to make them want to use our services.
Right.
And essentially that's the world we live in now. That is the facing that anybody who wants to offer services to authors is going to have to start taking.
Right.
You guys are doing a great job in that regard.
Well, I appreciate that. We're working hard.
Thank you very much for the
Thank you
interview.
very much. And thanks for having me.
I've had some people ask me whether joining SFWA, the Science Fiction Writers of America, was a worthwhile thing to do. And it's a decent question. I've had some of the top people in SFWA ask me, well, what can we do for indies? What can we do more for indie writers? And SFWA is geared toward traditional publishing, the old style of writers submit to agents who submit to publishers who publish the work. And that doesn't lead itself very well to being able to help indies. But there's a lot of stuff here for every writer. Tonight, I got to meet some amazing writers. I got to speak to one guy who might be getting me a really cool invite to speak at another convention coming up later this year. I got to get introduced to an author who co-authored books that I loved years and years and years ago, and might be helping them get some of these books self-published in the near future. We can help the traditionally published authors, we indies, and they can help us too. There's a lot of give and take available in this world, and I think that a rising tide does lift all ships. If we work together, we can all help each other accomplish our dreams. Our world is not that different from theirs. Their world is merging into ours. We can all help each other out a lot. So that's why I'm here. That's why I'm in SFWA. That's why I went to the Nebula conference, and that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. In the long run, I see this as an investment in the future. I think it's worth it for all of us. Signing off now for tonight. Tomorrow is the award ceremony, and it should be a lot of fun.